Hey Pisces, welcome to your September reading. I'm just going to jump right in. Ooh, that one wanted to come out for you. Oh, I love it. Oh, Pisces. I'm using the Sacred Forest Oracle as my keywords at the top for these readings. I've never worked with them before. I actually found them unopened in a box before I started doing my readings for this month. And I'm loving them so far. So as you know, if you follow me, the way I work is very intuitive, and sometimes that even means how I lay out the cards. It just kind of comes to me as in, you know, this will work, do this. So it's very different to what I've done previous months, but I'm loving it. I think it might actually be something that sticks with me for a while, but I mean, we'll go with the flow, right? Yours are coming through very differently as well, just like the last reading I did. So you're the first of the water signs I'm doing, Pisces. But yeah, basically we have the keywords at the top, and then I'm doing it in downward columns, but the top row is the keywords. Then we have the energy where we're in right now, and then we have the bottom column, which is where we're going, but it's going to be read kind of like keyword, where we're at, where it's going, next column. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, but the reading will flow and you'll hopefully understand what I mean. Or not, I don't know. We'll see. So let's see. Your first card is the Elves, playfulness. September is a time for you to play. Now, a lot of signs this is coming up. I love the imagery in these cards, yet my lighting is terrible. It's that time of year where I feel the sun is the other side of the house. And the light I'm working with in the room that I'm in is not the greatest, so I apologize for that you may not see the cards in their full effect. But again, these are the Sacred Forest Oracle, and I really highly recommend if you're into, kind of like me, I'm very earthy and shamanic, and so what I'm drawn to is that kind of foresty tree wisdom, and these are giving me all of that. Okay, time for you to play. I feel like you've been quite serious this year. There's been a lot of seriousness kind of impacting you. Has all of us. Totally get it. And now is the time for you to kind of lift that. I feel as though this kind of releasing of worries, I feel like it's time to acknowledge that, you know, worries come and go. We're going to have them always. But it's kind of changing the energy of how you deal with that. And this starts with just letting loose, choosing to be proactive and seeing the playful side of things. This is what it's giving me. I feel like this is a time for you to explore what makes you happy. I'm getting this sense of family and friends, so social times in September will be highly beneficial, or even just happening around you naturally anyways. It's giving me inner peace though. I feel like this is truly what can help you towards that inner peace, is by, again, being proactive and letting go and just allowing yourself to enjoy the moment. This is a theme for September for all signs at the moment. It's about living in this moment. Stop looking forward. And I feel like this is where stress comes in, when we're constantly looking ahead and we're not choosing to be happy now. This is what this area, this time in all planetary alignments is saying, is live in the moment. Your happiness is here, your happiness is now. You just have to see the beauty within each moment. And this is what this feels for me, for you Pisces. It's a time for you to just live now, or don't worry about the stresses. It just really feels as though, you know, acknowledging that worrying and stressing does not actually be proactive in any way, shape or form. So why are you doing it? Right? This is kind of what I say to myself when we are heavy and worried. It's like, can I do anything about it? Can I change it? No, because I would. So release it. Let it go. We'll worry when it's happening, and we can, that worry is proactive, you know? Like, I will use my situation as in looking for a new house. I literally cannot do that yet with the tools that I have. I have to wait for things to kind of be set in stones, you know, stepping stones or whatever to happen. So stop worrying about it. When it comes up, when that time comes, that's when I will set those worries in, that be proactive, that push me in the areas that they need to go. But right now, those worries are not proactive. And this is how I feel the energy for you is those realizations that let it go. 7 of Wands. Okay, so I'm getting the sense, it's in reverse. I'm getting the sense of like you have just felt like everything's been pointing at you. This is the worries I'm feeling, is that just feeling heavy. This is reversed. I feel like that's changing, and this is coming with a change of the way that you see things. This is the energy you're in now. So you may actually be experiencing kind of a shift in your way of processing things, because it really feels as though it's kind of like a flick of a switch of you going, hang on, this is not reality, but I'm making it reality. And you kind of being proactive in the way that you're thinking, because it very much feels as though for some time you've been feeling that all the bad luck has been pointing at you, everything bad happens to you, and it's like no matter what you do, it's this kind of cycle. And when we put ourselves in that cycle, that's what we're manifesting, that's what we're creating in our life. Now I feel like this has been the switch for you in reversal, that you are realizing that, hang on, I've just had, a stint of bad luck, or maybe my attitude towards things has created this for myself, and it just feels as though you're shedding those layers. So where you're heading, this definitely feels as though this is a cycle that you are working through, and I want you to actually be aware of the cycle you're going through. However, I want you to be mindful that the key word for this column is playfulness. You're not supposed to get too heavy in this. Pisces, being a very spiritual being, you can have this risk of getting in too deep in your inner thoughts. Totally get it. Pisces is actually my north node, I think, which means it's my life path. So I do go deep in my inner thoughts and the way the universe works and the way that spirituality and, the world works and society and all this stuff. I can really go in deep. But then, you sometimes think, hang on, I need to still be living a human experience in this life, right? And this is how I feel like you need to be conscious of not allowing that deep rootness of your kind of core values here to affect you. Because I feel like with this Knight of Swords in reverse, I feel like you are on this path of realizing, and it's very much a self-realization of needing to see the brighter side here. So if the Knight of Swords was in right, I would say that you are battling a lot of those thoughts and things, but I feel like you are actually the opposite kind of energy. It's not necessarily how I read reversals all the time. This is literally how it's flowing through for me. For you, is I feel like you really are being proactive in what you're putting out in the world. So I am loving that. And that means that you are ready to be seeing the brighter side, to be kind of balancing things into a more positive, productive way. Loving it. And as we come into, I was going to carry on saying more about this area, but I'm drawn to this next card, which is the key word for the next column. It's dragon and power. Now this to me instigates that this is your superpower. This is what you're bringing into your life. This is what you need to be doing. This is the energy that's going to, again, be productive, be proactive, in creating the life that you need. Loving it. We are coming into Mercury in retrograde in September. Don't ask me the dates because I just know it's coming. I want to say the 9th, but again, it could be the 13th, could be, I am not on the ball with my dates this month. However, I know it's coming, and I'm hoping to do readings for Mercury in retrograde because that is something I am passionate about. Did you know that if you're born on a Wednesday, that Mercury in retrograde could be the reason, basically Wednesday is the leading planet for Mercury, or Mercury is the leading planet for Wednesday, whatever. And so basically, if you're born on a Wednesday, like I am, it may affect you more deeply, as again, being the planet of communication, your woes are arisen during this time. If you're born on a Wednesday, you're full of woes, right? So what I'm saying is, again, Pisces, check on yourself. If you were born on a Wednesday, things come up. It's the planet of communication, which means it communicates what needs to change in your life and what areas you need to be, reflecting on that needs to change. That's what it does. It doesn't come, like Mercury is not an asshole like people like to make out. It is your best friend that's going to tell you what you want to hear, whether you want to hear it or not, right? So be aware what comes forward. But I feel like where you are in yourself for September feels like a highlight of your year so far, that you are very much in this space where no longer are you going to stay hidden with the energies that you've been working with. And I feel like it has done that. It's made you stop in your tracks, and you've been blind to really your reality, is what I want to say. I really feel like what you've been creating has been a kind of jail for yourself. We have the 8 of Swords in reverse, and this is the top card after that, Dragon Power. So this is the energy you're in now. And I feel like this is not the energy you're in, this is where you've been. You've been self-imposed, right? In the sense of she is in a prison of swords. She has 8 swords surrounding her, right? If you think of a prison of swords, especially, they are spread out well enough that if you had your eyes open, you could probably get right out. Pick a freaking sword up, right? Step out. However, she's blindfolded. She is cut at the wrists. Now, this is self-imposed because if she didn't have the blindfold on, or if she was aware of her reality, she could use the swords to break free of the binds on her wrist. She could get up, walk out. However, being blindfolded and not seeing the truth, she's staying hidden. This in reverse to me is like you're breaking free of that. You now are acknowledging again where you've been and why, and it feels very positive. Like I feel like this is you coming into your power. This is what you've been needing. It's an energy you really can work with, and it doesn't feel like you're actually doing any work for it. It's just like it's activated within you during this time. So again, I'm loving that. The energy where this is taking you. Okay, so we have 10 of Cups in reverse. So upright, I would say that, you know, your cups are full. I feel like actually what it's doing for you is showing you what you need to fill those cups. But I don't feel like, see, during this time, this is a time where we get insight into how our life can be. This is what September's kind of seen with many of the signs. It's sort of saying, look, you're getting these little insights into where you can be in a year's time. And this is what this 10 of Cups is giving me for you. It's kind of, I feel like you are going to see what you need to do in order to get yourself back to this 10 of Cups. This 10 of Cups where you are feeling in control of your emotions, on top of life, and everything is channeling. I really feel emotionally this is a thing. I feel like this year for you has been a very big knockback in this sense, if that's how I'm feeling it. And like now it's activating this opposite, because Pisces, you could be very proactive in your life, and I feel like you stepped out for a second there. This is you stepping way back in. So where you're going to be with this energy of realization is that you're going to start filling up your cups again. This means to me, you are starting to tick boxes, take those steps, kind of like stepping stones over a river. Now a river is emotional. River is a body of water which can represent our emotions. The fact that that's what I said and what's coming through for me, taking these stepping stones from there, I feel like you are rebuilding yourself up emotionally. You are really channeling them in a more productive way where you're on top of those emotions. And this is what I feel is really beneficial for you right now. I feel like you allowed yourself to kind of self-protect within these emotions, and it's done the opposite. So be aware of that. I do feel like I've been telling you to drop your walls and be more vulnerable with people, and that could very much be where you're acknowledging, again, you're repeating patterns. Information. Okay, information. So I don't know what that means for you, but information could be information coming to you. Perhaps as well, Mercury Retrograde brings communication. Sometimes this can mean that somebody will communicate something with us. I feel like this could bring information to you that makes you snap out of something, that makes you realize that, hang on, yeah, you're right, I'm self-sabotaging. Okay, interesting. Transmutation is your next card. The Phoenix. Now the Phoenix is a being who, this represents what I've just been saying. So a Phoenix is a being, you know, a mythical being who can basically, it kind of dies off, becomes ashes, and from those ashes it's reborn and grows back into this beautiful being that it is, right? This is what I feel I've just been saying about you, is that you have kind of burnt yourself down, or your life has burnt you to this space now where you have, this year to me feels like you've been in the ashes. Now you've been wallowing in those ashes for some time, but I feel like the whole wallowing has been served its purpose, because now you are rebirthing. And that's what this transmutation is. You are really coming into who you are meant to be and where you're meant to be in your life. I do feel like this is a time where you are seeing very, very clearly the cycles that you've been repeating over and over again in your life, as we all have. But I feel like for you, this is crystal clear now, that you are able to kind of cancel out those patterns. You've done your work. This is really good, because now we're not going to let that happen again. And that's happening universally, but for this to come through in your reading right now, it's like monumental moment. And I've used that a few times actually. I think with Virgo. So if you have Virgo in your sign as well, this could be a very, very transforming time for you. But it's monumental and change. You're not going to let it happen again. And the universe wants us all to be having permanence, reaping the rewards of the good stuff, and seeing the abundance that we all hold very dearly and deserving of, that we have not been allowing ourselves to accept that's like, and that feels here. You are finally accepting where it is you need to be. Okay, hang on a second. Renee, that's too loud in here. Take it out there. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. I am a single parent, so we will have interruptions, but that's too noisy. Okay, it's on. We have the Strength card in reverse. This has come up for like many people as well. To me, again, this is realizing that your vulnerabilities, and I feel like you have, this is very, very, very realizing moment. What you've been through is kind of lead you to this moment. And I feel like you're going to stop seeing your vulnerabilities as weaknesses, which I'm pretty sure I said that to you last month or a month before. I've said it to you this year, Pisces, of realizing that you need to be more vulnerable and bring those to the surface. Again, being a very introverted kind of self spiritually, of how you process your life, that can block people out. And I feel like this is part of your realization on cancelling out these patterns and cycles you've been through, is that you realize that that's who you are is a strength. Those vulnerabilities are a part of you, and they're the beautiful parts of you as well. And I feel like in this realization for yourself, this is putting all those bad times behind you, and this is where I feel this is the switch and the change, because I feel like you are in this moment where you're like, that's it, it's behind me, it's done, I'm over this. Let's be proactive. And this is the Strength card. That's what it's giving me again, in the energy that you are in right now. Loving it. Where you're going. Okay, Queen of Swords energy. I feel like you actually might be ready, coming into this realization of like needing other people and realizing that other people can nurture you. And I feel like this is a positive thing for you, Pisces, because I get this sense of feeling like you've always just the only one who can take care of yourself, and this is great, because this means you're finally realizing that you do need other people, and actually it's okay for you to accept that, and it feels as though this is just it. You are going to be experiencing that maternal aspect that you've been craving, is what I want to say. So I'm kind of loving that. I do feel like in relationship wise, this could be you accepting that you're not the only one in the relationship that can provide everything for you, and perhaps you actually have had to come to this acceptance that perhaps you kind of switched roles maybe, and this is what's going to break those patterns. That's actually a really positive thing. It's where you're going. I'm loving it. I am loving that for you, Pisces. I feel like you as well may have always felt like you had to be everything for everybody, and now this realization that that you're not, you don't have to live in that life, that you can have everything and you can be everything, and it be like an equal give and take, feels very, very much a positive thing for you. Interesting. So the next card is Crystal Cave Trust, and this is what it comes down to. I feel like trust does not come easy for you, Pisces. This is what this is saying to me, and I feel like this is what you're working with, and it's not, I feel like something I need to say to you is that you feel like maybe you don't trust other people, and this is where the problem is, that it's external from yourself, that you can only rely on yourself and trust yourself. But I actually feel like you need to trust yourself. It's like that you don't, and that's where this problem lies. So that could be something to reflect on for yourself. I feel like the work is all within yourself and not external, because how the hell are you going to trust anyone else if you can't trust yourself? That's kind of a RuPaul kind of reference, turned into trust instead of love. But it's true. If you do not trust the one person who you spend your entire life with, which is yourself, your body, your being, your higher self, if you don't trust that, you will not ever trust anybody else, because you are the only person that is fully grounded within your life, who's there by your side no matter what. So this here is an inkling onto where I feel like the work needs to be done is there. So instead of thinking your problems are external from yourself, it's acknowledging within. But I do feel like that is where you're at. Like we're at this. It's just a reminder. But also I feel like once you know who you are and you can trust who you are. And I'm going to use an example for myself. Like I am very closed off from people because of the way my circumstances of my life has been. You know, I put being a mother and a wife for some time like on the forefront of everything, and so I didn't make any connections, and I feel like I really can't connect to people. Throughout my whole life it's always been like people leave me just from circumstance. It's not that it's the people's fault, but you know, that has then programmed within me from a very young age that people leave, so I really don't put myself out there in the way that I should to make authentic connections, right? And that comes with, again, I feel now that that's the trust in myself, is I don't trust myself to put myself out there, to be vulnerable enough to make these connections. And so using that example, I need to rebuild this trust and love and self-love within myself in order to be able to make authentic connections on the outside. And this is how I feel this exactly resonates with what I'm saying to you. So I feel like that's part of your journey as self-discovery during this time. So if you are having issues throughout your life, that is a place to start for sure. And amethyst, if you are working with crystals, amethyst is your best friend for September. Interesting. Okay, King of Swords in reverse is your first card, the energy that we're in here. The King of Swords, he naturally knows where he's going, and he thinks like he rules his life with logic and with his mind. I feel like it's time for you now to be really feeling and living your life from the heart. I think that you have always thought you've done that, but you haven't. You've always allowed your mind to rule your life. You've been kind of stubborn and like, you know, authoritative in your view. This is now time to realize that it's time for you to really bring this vulnerability to the surface. Show your true emotions. Allow people in. And I feel like this is the energy you're in now, like you are ready to really kind of, and I feel like you've been broken down so much this year, just for little tiny things, possibly big things, depending on your circumstance, but I feel like you've been broken down to this point now that your heart is what's left. That was meant to happen because this is where the seeds are growing. This is where the phoenix is being reborn in, right? And this is, to me, the energy that you're in right now is that you're ready to kind of put the heart into things rather than just working with your mind. But I feel like that is the sensible thing to do. And I feel like you are connecting the mind to the heart during this time in being the king of your world, right? Loving it. And this is leading us to Three of Pentacles. Collaborative. This is where you're going to be at. It's letting people in, allowing people to help you. This is going to help you in literally all areas of your life. To me, this is saying in love, allowing people in and letting them support you. If they need to support you more in this, that is the balance, because it's lacking within yourself. So allowing someone else to fill that is going to help build you up, is what I want to say, which is kind of interesting how I've worded that. If this is in career, you need the support of others. Right now, where you're heading, it is about others. It's about letting people in. It is about building where you're going. So yeah, don't do things alone. You are no longer this lone wolf. And again, a lone wolf is not a happy, healthy wolf. Wolves are a pack animal. If that wolf is alone, they've been shunned from the pack for a reason, and it is probably self-imposed, right? So find your pack, find your tribe, allow them in, and understand that this vulnerability of letting people help you is a massive strength. It is going to bring that abundance. It's going to be revelationary in your growth. So I hope that makes sense for you, Pisces. Please comment below if you have any questions or just some insights on how this can be impactful in your life during September. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next month.